Today we're going to be doing some work to this 2012 Can-Am Commander, and today's job is we'll be reinstalling this rear trailing arm. I'll give you a quick breakdown of how I uninstalled it and the reason why I did. The reason why is when I got the machine, these four sway bar bolts were sheared off flush. So unfortunately, I had to take it off, take it to a shop, and they machined the broken bolts out for me. I saved a few $100s going that route as opposed to buying a brand new one. So disassembly was pretty simple. You'll see your mount here. I believe it was a 15 mil. Actually, that's a lie. It was an 18 mil. And I took an 18 mil on the other side with an impact, loosened that off. And then for your shock, I believe it was a 15. Yes, it was. So a little bit tighter to get it in there. I had to use a small impact with a swivel on it, but that was more than enough to crack it loose. And then I used, I believe it was an 1 1/16 socket for the castle nut on the axle, and that spun off. And then I just had to take off the two little caliper bolts, and I put that nice neat in behind so I didn't damage the lines in any way. So now we're going to go ahead and get this all reassembled. So let's get the camera set up and let's get started. Okay, so hopefully you got a half decent angle, but I'm going to start by the main trailing arm bolt. As you can see, that's a pretty long bolt, but it is necessary. So we're going to start by getting this in position and making sure the orientation is proper. I'll start the bolt in the hole, and then we will get our trailing arm up there. Once that's in place, you'll feed your bolt through. You may have to wiggle it around to find its home. So I got the bolt through. Now I'm just trying to get it through the other side. So just like that. All right. So we'll go ahead and we'll throw our 18 mil bolt on that. Don't think it's ever been off before. It's a little rusty. You could take the time and clean up the threads a little bit, but I think I'll be all right. So I'm going to take my impact, put an 18 on there, and forward, I'll do lowest setting to start. See if you can see that. 18 mil wrench to hold it. And if I can get this impact in there, got to kind of finagle it. So hold on tight. Okay. So that's a start. Okay, so now that we got the trailing arm, the shock reinstalled, the axle, the hub, we're moving on to the caliper now. So I'll show you this. Now I just took the two backing bolts off, put it to the side. I didn't want to put any pressure on the brake line itself. So I was very careful not to touch the brake pedal, because if it does, that'll squeeze the brake caliper. And if you do, you're going to need a pad spreader. I have one, but I was just careful not to touch the brake. So what I did was just weaseled the rotor in between the two pads of the caliper, and we're going to line up the holes in the back of the caliper for the caliper bolts. And just like so, they are definitely threading in. Now I did notice the bottom one was actually rather tricky to get to, but that's okay. Now your caliper bolts on this Commander is also a 15 mil. So we'll go ahead and we'll take our impact to that as well. Now again, you don't want to overdo it, but just make sure that they're nice and tight, snug, just like that. Pull the shield up out of the way. This one I'm going to do by hand, just because it's a bit of a chore to get the impact in there. And it doesn't take much. And just, I'd go tight and 1/3 of a turn. All right. So now what we're going to want to do is reinstall our castle nut. But before that, make sure you do get your big washer for your castle nut. Okay, let's torque down this castle nut. So like I said, on this model, the rears are 1 1/16. The front are slightly bigger, but I can't remember the exact size. Just like so. Okay, so last thing, but still wouldn't forget about it, is your cotter pin. So we want to make sure that we get that in there. Give that a little tap. And we'll twist it. And we'll go ahead and we'll reinstall our tire. And just like that, you've now reinstalled your rear trailing arm on your Can-Am Commander. Well, hopefully this helps somebody out, but yeah, thanks for watching, guys. And feel free to like, share, subscribe. I'll have more content and more work to be done on this machine and others. So yeah, we'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.